What if the most reliable cars on the planet were never the ones with the biggest engines or the most expensive badges, but the ones that almost everyone overlooked? These 5 hybrid vehicles became so unexpectedly durable that mechanics, engineers, and longtime owners are still struggling to fully explain why they refuse to break down. And the answers hidden inside each one of these machines will genuinely change how you think about buying a car. The stories behind these vehicles are not just about saving fuel at the gas pump. They are about engineering decisions made under enormous pressure and real-world endurance that defied every laboratory prediction. Some of these hybrids survived brutal fleet abuse, extreme climates, and odometer numbers that would make a conventional engine weep, and they came out the other side still running smoothly. Every single fact you are about to hear is real, documented, and the kind of information that most automotive content never goes deep enough to uncover. If you are the kind of person who wants the full picture behind the machines you drive or dream about driving, subscribe to this channel right now. Drop a like on this video, and tell us in the comments which hybrid you have personally seen survive the longest. Those stories from real owners are exactly what this community is built on. Now let's get into the 5 cars that refused to be forgotten. The first vehicle on this list is the Toyota Camry Hybrid, and if that name makes you think of a boring family sedan, you are about to have your entire perception completely demolished. Toyota introduced the Camry Hybrid in 2006, and underneath that unremarkable sheet metal lived a powertrain so over-engineered that Toyota's own reliability teams were quietly shocked by what long-term data started revealing. Taxi and rideshare operators in cities like Los Angeles and Chicago pushed these cars through double shifts, urban stop-and-go punishment, and climate extremes ranging from desert heat to freezing winters. Multiple documented fleet units crossed 500,000 miles without a single battery replacement, a number that sounds fictional until you understand the thermal management architecture Toyota built around the battery pack. The Camry Hybrid's engine ran on the Atkinson cycle, a thermodynamic approach that sacrifices raw power for sustained efficiency, meaning it never operated at the stress levels that age conventional motors so aggressively. Most drivers never realize that the regenerative braking system was calibrated so precisely that original brake rotors on high-mileage examples showed less wear than rotors on standard Camry models with half the miles. Insurance actuaries studying Camry hybrid breakdown data quietly reclassified the car into a reliability tier it had never been formally placed in before. And this is where things get interesting, because the second car on this list took that same spirit of quiet over-engineering and hid it inside something even more unexpected. The second car is the Ford Fusion Hybrid, and its story involves a level of American engineering ambition that the automotive press consistently underreported at the time of its release. Ford launched the second-generation Fusion Hybrid in 2013 with a lithium-ion battery pack at a time when most manufacturers were still cautiously sticking with heavier and older battery chemistry. The Fusion Hybrid's battery management software used predictive thermal algorithms that adjusted charging and discharging rates based on temperature readings, driving pattern history, and real-time cell voltage monitoring in ways competing systems simply were not doing at that price point. Rideshare drivers who adopted the Fusion Hybrid in large numbers starting around 2015 reported operational costs so low that the car was essentially paying for itself in fuel and maintenance savings within 18 months of purchase. Ford's internal warranty claim data revealed that hybrid-specific components generated claims at roughly one-third the rate of the conventional Fusion's transmission, meaning the hybrid system was actually making the car more reliable rather than adding new failure points. Documented examples began crossing 250,000 and even 300,000 miles with original powertrains intact, turning early adopters into the most vocal and loyal owners Ford had seen in that segment in decades. The 2.0-liter Atkinson cycle engine was so thermally efficient at highway speeds that long-distance drivers regularly reported real-world fuel economy figures that exceeded EPA estimates, a reversal of the typical pattern where laboratory numbers always disappoint in the real world. But there is one detail almost nobody talks about with this car, and it connects directly to why the third vehicle on this list became even more of a surprise to the people who built it. The third car is the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, which arrived in its modern form in 2016 wearing the costume of a practical family crossover while hiding the mechanical soul of something far more serious underneath. Toyota engineered the RAV4 hybrid with a dedicated electric motor on the rear axle providing all-wheel drive without any mechanical coupling to the front drivetrain, meaning the rear axle experienced dramatically less stress than conventional all-wheel drive systems fighting torque through physical gear sets. Outdoor adventure communities in Colorado, British Columbia, and Norway adopted the RAV4 hybrid for accessing remote terrain year-round, operating it through deep snow, steep gradients, and temperature swings from -30 degrees to scorching summer heat without the cold weather hesitation critics had predicted. If you are finding this information genuinely useful, share this video right now with someone who is thinking about buying a hybrid. Subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and drop a comment telling us which fact has surprised you most because your responses directly shape what this channel covers next. Toyota tested the RAV4 hybrid battery pack through 1,000 simulated charge cycles before production release, which at real-world usage rates translated to approximately 15 years of ownership before meaningful capacity degradation would appear. Owners who bought early 2016 and 2017 examples are now approaching a decade of ownership and consistently reporting battery health readings that match Toyota's original projections almost exactly. What almost nobody reported clearly was that Toyota's marketing team reportedly debated whether publishing those longevity projections would make the car sound too good for mainstream buyers to believe. And the fourth car on this list carries a story that proves sometimes the most overlooked vehicle in a brand's lineup turns out to be the one that defines its entire legacy. The fourth car is the Honda Accord Hybrid, and the generation that truly rewrote expectations arrived in 2014 with a two-motor system so different from everything Honda had done before that dealers initially struggled to explain how it worked to customers standing on the showroom floor. Honda engineered the Accord Hybrid so the gasoline engine functions primarily as a generator at most driving speeds, sending electrical energy to a drive motor that moves the car, while engaging the engine mechanically only at specific highway cruise conditions where direct drive is most efficient. This architecture placed the gasoline engine in an extraordinarily protected operating state, because it ran at a single optimized RPM for charging rather than constantly cycling through the full rev range in response to driver inputs. Long-term owners who crossed 200,000 miles on 2014 and 2015 examples began pulling engine inspection data and posting it in owner forums, and what those teardown reports showed was internal wear so minimal that some mechanics initially questioned whether the odometer readings were accurate. Honda's battery warranty data showed claim rates so low in the first 5 years that the company quietly extended its hybrid component coverage, not because failures were appearing but because the low claim rate gave Honda the actuarial confidence to offer longer protection without meaningful financial risk. Most drivers never realize that the regenerative braking calibration was tuned so naturally into the brake pedal feel that owners switching from conventional cars reported adapting within a single week of daily driving. The fifth and final car on this list is the one that surprised everyone the most, including the engineers who built it, and its story is the reason this entire video exists. What you are about to hear redefines what it means to build a vehicle that genuinely lasts. The fifth car is the Toyota Highlander Hybrid, a three-row family SUV that airport shuttle operators, rideshare fleets, and everyday families accidentally turned into one of the greatest endurance tests in modern automotive history. Toyota introduced the Highlander Hybrid in 2005 using the same hybrid synergy drive platform from the Prius, scaling the system up to move a vehicle nearly twice as heavy without reducing the conservative reliability margins that made the smaller car famous. The system eliminated the traditional driveshaft running the length of the vehicle, replacing mechanical rear-wheel drive with a dedicated rear electric motor that engaged instantly and wore out almost nothing in the process. Shuttle services at airports across the American Southwest ran these vehicles 20 hours a day in extreme heat, carrying maximum passenger loads, and fleet examples from Phoenix and Las Vegas operations crossed 350,000 miles with original battery packs still delivering within acceptable capacity ranges. Mechanics who performed teardown inspections on high-mileage Highlander hybrid engines described the internal wear measurements as more consistent with engines half their age, a result that quietly circulated through fleet management networks and changed purchasing decisions across entire industries. There is one engineering detail that almost nobody covered properly, which is that Toyota routed the battery cooling intake through the passenger cabin air supply, keeping battery temperatures so stable in desert climates that operators in Phoenix reported no meaningful difference in degradation compared to identical vehicles running in cooler northern states. These 5 cars proved that the most durable machines are rarely the loudest or the most celebrated. They are the ones built with margins so generous that the real world simply cannot find their limits. If this video changed the way you think about hybrids, subscribe right now. Share it with someone who needs to see it before their next car purchase. Hit the like button, and leave a comment below telling us which of these 5 cars surprised you the most, because every response helps shape what this channel covers next.